you are also, as you just showed right there, an observer of the language coming from the league being a high indicator of their intentions and a great indicator of their intentions. I believe when there is a rule change in the ether, you'll sometimes hear, we're talking about it, but we don't really believe there's much momentum for it or a need. You'll hear sometimes, hey, you know what, it's hardly ever happening, so why do we need to address it? But we'll still talk about it. And then you'll hear Troy Vincent say aloud, as he did into a microphone yesterday, about the ball being fumbled through and out of the end zone going to the defense, that rule that I have been howling about from this chair and everywhere else about needing to change, and hearing the same thing I just said to you, the setup, oh, what doesn't really happen, all that business. Him basically starting to opine about changing it and discussing it and saying, do we need to give the team that fumbles it another chance? And I heard that. I'm like, well, that's new. So do you think this rule is actually being discussed to change this time around?
Yep. Rich, one of the many essays in Playmakers, the book that came out in 2022, is focused on what I believe and you believe is the worst rule in football. It makes no sense. It's an unfair punishment to the offense, and it's an unjustified reward for the defense. They've done nothing to secure possession of the ball, yet they're given possession of the ball. And it's as simple as the guy fumbles at the 2, the ball trickles out of bounds just short of the pylon. It's the offense's ball at the spot of the fumble. If it nicks the pylon, the defense has the ball at the 20. It's never made sense to me. It's a vestige of days where they put a lot more importance on the end zone. In fact, there was a time when the forward pass, if it landed incomplete in the end zone, was a touchback. And the defense got it at the 20. But the fact that this was brought up not in reaction to some team getting screwed by it is significant to me, because I always thought it would take a Super Bowl. Yeah. Having it happen in the Super Bowl and millions of casual fans saying, what the hell was that, to get it to change? I think they just recognize it's unfair. And the unfairness applies both ways, offense and defense. It's just unfair to both teams involved that you would have that kind of a punishment coupled with that kind of reward when the defense has done nothing to secure possession of the ball.
Counselor, you and I could be character witnesses in each other's presentation of facts if either one of us are called to try this case. But because you are a man of law and a man of letters and understanding that there is another point of view, I present, I guess, would you say you are the public defender of the defense of this law, Chris Brockman? What would you have? What would you call yourself? What would you say?
Sure, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Cherry picking a rule from when only a handful of teams actually use the forward pass, not a great argument. I expected more out of you, Mike.
Oh, don't make it personal.
No,
State your facts.
No, I'm just kidding.
State your facts.
But unfair to the defense. Literally every new rule favors the offense. So you want to do another one? Like you can't touch receivers.
Yes.
Bill Polian cried.
Your best. Do I need to help you make your best case? Your best case is talking about the end zone. That the end zone is a different piece of property as opposed to the rest of the field.
Literally, don't fumble. Just don't fumble. The idea is the ball is sacred. Take care of the football. So you're going to get a do-over for losing the ball.
But Chris,
why are we going to do that?
Chris, but if the ball goes out of bounds at the 1-inch line, you still get possession.
Well, guess what? Football's a game of inches. Football's a game of inches.
The pylon.
I think Al Pacino said that. It's a game of inches. It's a weird ball, weird-shaped ball, so it takes weird bounces. That's just the way it goes. Like, you just don't like something, so you want to change it. This literally happens, what? When was the last time it happened? Has it happened this year?
It happened. Justin Jefferson, week 2, it happened. It's happened also. Somebody else later in the year did it. The Falcons, I think, had it happen in their first game against the Buccaneers week 7. But when it happens, it creates such an unsatisfying outcome. It doesn't make sense.
For whom?
Well, for the offense. But every team has an offense. It's going to apply to all 32 teams equally. The rule helps everyone's offense. And look, I think your better argument is that the end zone is sacred ground. Rich was going there. Chris Sims and I argue about this all the time.
Yes.
He calls the end zone North Korea. And if the ball goes in North Korea, you lose the ball.
I mean, that's pretty extreme, but I'll ride with him since we agree.
Well, I didn't know we were going geopolitical. Wow.
It's the 45th parallel?
No, it makes a point. Yeah, You score a touchdown if it creases the 45th parallel. I like
love
it. Is that really? Okay. Well, you've got your Chris. I've got my Chris. But I do believe, hearing the language that I heard, that's a shift. Would you not agree there's a shift?
Yes.
That's a shift. Yeah.
Troy Vincent doesn't send messages accidentally. He sends messages intentionally. And I think that's being put out there for us to know that it's coming. And they just have to hope they get through this season and, more importantly, through this Super Bowl without it happening, because I have said for years that's the moment when they will change it. So why not change it before that happens?
And you and I are lockstep on that one. That is for sure. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.